Bison Buffalo is asking, is there any centralized stablecoin options coming to Ergo? Any significant L1 will eventually have both decentralized and centralized stablecoins. So what do you think on that, Joe?
Well, I'll start from the beginning. On the back end, one of the things that most centralized stablecoins will want is the ability to censor transactions, right? And that's not something that is a problem I want to solve for them. In a way, I think that if a centralized stablecoin wants to try to build that functionality, they can do that if they have the tooling, right? And it's an open ecosystem, they're welcome to. My personal opinion is that there's three huge risks that everybody overlooks because centralized stablecoins are sexy and they're a little bit more economically efficient. The first risk is that you basically are putting your faith in a trusted party that they have the backing for that stablecoin, which has been an open question for many major centralized stablecoins in the crypto industry for a long time. And if that is indeed the case, could be cataclysmic because a lot of the industry built around Tether, for an example. The second is it creates a single point of regulatory failure, which is somewhat silly to build into a system that's supposed to be non-fragile, right? With the stroke of a pen, they could say, okay, well, this particular stablecoin is no longer allowed, and all that liquidity disappears. So if we're trying to actually create a resilient, decentralized economy, we have to ask the question, is that a wise long-term decision? Right. And I tend to think that in the worst case, no, that's a major vector of attack. And the third has to do with the long-term governance of an ecosystem, right? If you build the entire economy based on some external third party long-term, I do think that systems that primarily build around a centralized stablecoin may just have a governance issue, right? Because their survival is now dependent on that external entity's survival. And so people are going to change their assumptions and have a tendency to follow the will and benefit of that third party. And it kind of ruins the entire concept of decentralization long-term. Now, that's not a popular opinion, but those are the risks, right? And I think that every ecosystem should really go into that open-eyed. Are there some economic inefficiencies with decentralization? Yes, there are. But that's also kind of why they exist, because they create censorship resistance, right? And in terms of centralized stablecoins, too often the liquidity and the sexiness of it really overshadows the reality that we may be inheriting something that is a systemic risk.
What do you think on that, Alex?
Yeah, pretty much the same. So, yeah. I tend to agree, and well, not much to it actually.